welcome to our channel Knowledge of Friends. Subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon for the latest update. आज हम डेटा वेयर हाउसिंग एंड डेटा माइनिंग की क्लास करने वाले हैं जो कि क्लास 14 है एंड दिस इज़ योर क्लास 14 एंड विच वेयर वी हैड डन योर यूनिट 1, यूनिट 2, यूनिट 3, यूनिट 4 and as well as unit 5 we had completed in a detailed. And now in this class we'll start discussing about the short answer of all the units in reference towards unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, unit 4 and unit 5. It's totally depend upon, it will be not longer than 1 hour, and whatever the unit will cover up in this within this duration. So we'll start with unit 1 here, that is your unit 1. The name of the unit, as I told you before as well, and now I also told you about it, that is your data warehousing. In this data warehousing we'll do a possible short questions, and before that it's a huge request from my side to all the viewers, please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. In unit 1, the data warehouse, the first topic we'll discuss in the reference towards the categories, and that is your memory based question. In memory based questions here, so the first question that we'll discuss here is that what are the key features of a data warehousing. And the key features of data warehouse, if I'm talking about here, so that is we have here the key feature of data warehouse. This has been asked of possible 2 marks question, which is in terms of memory based question. So the key features, we have 4 key features of data warehouse. The first feature we have is your subject oriented. The second is your integrated. The third is time variant. And the fourth is non-volatile. These were the 4 key features of data warehouse. I repeat, that is your the subject oriented, time variant, that is integrated, and as well non-volatile. Now we'll discuss the other possible question that has been asked of 2 marks in unit 1, in terms of unit 1, that is memory based question. So the second question is write down all the data warehousing components. So we'll have to write it down the components here, components of data warehousing that we have. These were the possible questions that they can ask you about in 2 marks possible questions of your examination. So the component of data warehousing, that we'll talk about it. So in the same cases, the component, we have a total 5 component, and following are the various components of the data warehouse. The first we have is your operational data source. The second is your operational data stores. The third is your load manager. The fourth is your warehouse manager. And of course the fifth we have your query manager. Now we'll discuss moreover about the another question, that is a possible question, is your define query manager. So So in the same case for the query manager here, that in the query manager that it performs all the operations associated with the management of the user queries, and these operations include directing queries to the appropriate tables and scheduling the executions of queries as well. And now we'll discuss about the other question, that is what are the various steps in planning our data warehouse. So we'll talk about the steps here, and that is in the same cases. So we'll go ahead here, which is various steps in planning a data warehouse. So the various steps of planning a data warehouse, that is the planning a data warehouse includes the following steps. The first step we have here is your data acquisition and collection. Second is your metadata. Third is your data mart. And the fourth is your trustworthiness or security. Now the other question can be arise from this, that is to explain the term metadata here. So in a metadata is an essential to an effective operations of the data warehouse, and it is used in the data acquisition, data transformation, and data access as well. In the same cases, we'll talk about the other question, that is the possible question is to describe various physical structure of the data warehouse. So physical structures of the data warehouse, we'll talk about it. Various physical structure of data warehouse. So in this, that is the various physical structures of the data warehouse are as to be follows. The first we have is your centralized. Second is your distributed. Third is your federated. And of course the fourth we have is your tiered. Now we'll talk about the other question, that is what are the important approaches to build a data warehouse. So there are the two approaches here. Approaches to build a data warehouse. So there were the two approaches here, that is the first approach is your dimensional modeling technique. And the second we have is your materialized view. So here in this, that write a short note on a dimensional modeling technique here. In the dimensional model that represents the data with a cube structure, making a more compatible logical data representations with OLAP data management. And the basic concepts of the dimensional modeling are facts, dimensions, and measure as well. Now we'll discuss about another one, that is what do you mean by parallelism. In what do you mean by the parallelism here? In this, that the parallelism is used to provide speed up and where queries are executed faster because more resources such as processors and disks are provided. And parallelism is also used to provide scale up, and it is of two types, and that is the first type we have here is the horizontal parallelism. The second is your vertical parallelism. Now we'll discuss the another topic, that is your query parallelism. So in the interquery parallelism here, and this that the different queries or the transaction execute in parallel with one another, and the transaction throughput that can be increased by this form of parallelism. And the primary use of this parallelism is to scale up our transaction processing system here. Now we'll discuss about, which is to explain intra-query parallelism. This is interquery parallelism, and we'll discuss intra-query parallelism. In intra-query parallelism here, in this parallelism refers to the execution, and that is the execution of a single query in a parallel on a multiple processor, and using the intra-query parallelism is important for speeding up long-running queries as well. Now we'll go ahead with the discussion about another question, that is, what are the different architectures available for the parallel processing here. So different architectures that relate with it. Different architecture available for parallel processing. So in this, for the different architecture available for the parallel processing here is that the different database architecture available for parallel processing, and that what we'll have to discuss is the four type we have. The first is the shared memory architecture. The second we have is your shared disk architecture. The third we have is the shared nothing architecture. And the fourth and the last, that is hierarchical architecture. So in this, that now we'll discuss more in the detail about it. It is write a short note on shared memory architecture. So in the shared memory architecture, what they can ask you is that the shared memory is a traditional approach to implement the RDBMS on SMP hardware, and it is relatively simple to implement and has been very successful up to the point and where it runs into the scalability limitations of shared everything architecture here as well. Now we'll discuss about the another one, that is your related to difference between OLTP and OLAP. Difference between OLTP and OLAP. So in the OLTP and OLAP, which is very important, and in OLTP that an OLTP system is a customer oriented, and OLAP a system is a market oriented. For OLTP, an OLTP system uses an entity relationship data model and application-oriented DB design. And for OLAP, that is the system uses either a star or a snowflake model and a subject-oriented DB design as well. The third difference and the last difference, that because this has been asked of 2 marks, so we'll discuss three differences here. The third differences is that the SS pattern of an OLTP system consists mainly of short atomic transaction, and OLAP is access to an OLAP system that are mostly read-only operations here. Now we'll discuss more in the detail about star schema. So in the star schema here, where it explains star schema, and this that the schema is called a star schema if all dimension tables that can be joined directly to the fact table, and a star schema is a relational schema whose design represents a multidimensional data model, and they are used for both simple data marts and very large data warehouse as well. Now we'll discuss about more in the detail, which is to give advantages of star schema. So we'll discuss about advantages of star schema. So in the advantages of star schema here, that is the first advantages we have is you're easy to understand and require the low maintenance here. The second is to provide a direct mapping between the business entities and a schema design as well. Wherein all next we'll have to discuss the third advantages is that to provide highly optimized performance for a typical star queries as well. Now we'll go ahead with the discussion about more in the detail related to, that is, what do you mean by a snowflake schema. In the snowflake schema, the snowflake schema is similar to a star schema, and a schema is called snowflake if one or more dimensions table that do not join directly in the fact table but must join through other dimension tables, and it is also known as multi-fact star schema as well. Now we'll go ahead with the detailed about it, which is write down the difference between star schema and snowflake schema. Difference between star schema and snowflake schema. So in this, the major difference between the snowflake and a star schema model is that the dimension table of the snowflake model that may be kept in normalized form to reduce redundancies. Furthermore, the snowflake structure that can reduce the effectiveness of browsing as well. Now we'll go ahead with the detailed about it, that why do we need a separate data warehouse. So why do we need a separate data warehouse? Because the data warehouse queries are complex, and so it may require the use of the spatial data organization, access and implementation method based on the multidimensional view, and the separation of the operational DB from the data warehouse is based on the different structure and uses of data in these systems as well. Now we'll discuss about to describe data cubes. In the terms of the data cubes here, that the data cube approach has few alternative names or the few variants, such as multi-dimensional databases, materialized view, and OLAP. That the general idea of the approach is to materialize certain expensive computations that are frequently inquired, and a data cube allow data to be modeled and viewed in a multiple dimension as well. Now we'll discuss about the other one, which is what is concept hierarchy. In the terms of the concept hierarchy here, that is the concept hierarchy is directed acyclic graph of concept where each of the concept is identified by a unique name here, and arc from a concept A to B that denotes that A is more general concept than B, and we can tag the text with concept, and each text document is tagged by a set of concept that correspond to its content as well. Now we'll discuss about the other question, which is what are the various OLAP operations in the multidimensional data model. So that what we have to discuss here. So the question is, what are the various OLAP operation in the multidimensional data models. So in this, that various OLAP operations that are as to be follows, and that the first we have is your roll up, drill down, slice and dice, and pivot, that is rotate, which we, even though we had discussed in the detail, but here it has been asked of 2 marks. So we'll go ahead with a shot here, that is the roll up, the name itself, and the drill up, drill down. The third we have is just slice and dice, and the fourth is your pivot, which is your rotate. So now we'll go ahead with the other one, that what we have to discuss about it, which is what do you mean by a process architecture. In a process architecture, that will go ahead in a detail that has been asked of 2 marks. So process architecture. In process architecture, the process architecture defines an architecture in which the data from the data warehouse is processed for a particular computation. Following are the 2 fundamental process architecture, and that 2 are, the first is your centralized process architecture, and the second we have is a distributed process architecture. Now we'll go ahead with another one, that is the other question. Give several architecture of distributed process. So the architecture of distributed process, we'll talk about it. Several architectures of the distributed process are as to be follows. So here in this same cases that we'll talk about it, and the architecture of the distributed process are as to be follows. The first we have your client server. The second is your 3-tier architecture. The third we have is your N-tier architecture. The fourth is your cluster architecture. And the fifth we have is your peer-to-peer architecture. So now we'll go ahead with the detailed about it. That is another one, and that is write a short note on a 3-tier architecture. So in the 3-tier architecture here, that the DWs, that is you have a 3-tier architecture that includes here, and that is comes under the, that is the first is the bottom tier that consists of DW server. The second is middle tier that consists of OLAP server, and the top tier that includes the front end tools as well. We'll go ahead with another one, that is what is data mart. what is data mart here? That is the data in a data warehouse should be reasonably current, but that not necessary up to the minute. And although developments in the data warehouse industry have made a frequent and incremental data dumps from more feasible, and the data marts are smaller than the data warehouse and generally contain the information from a single department as well. Now we'll discuss about the type of data mart. Types of data mart here, there are the two types of data marts as well. The first is your independent data mart, and the second we have dependent data mart. Now we'll go ahead with other one, that is we have to discuss about the application based question. In application based questions, the first question has been arise, give the structure of centralized architecture. So here we have to give a centralized architecture here, and that is to be as follows. So here in this, that is this is your client, this is your central data warehouse, this is client, this is your source, source, source. This is a centralized architecture. From the source it will go to the central data warehouse, and then it's spread into the clients here. So that is known as centralized architecture. Now we'll go ahead with other question, and that is to illustrate the shared disk architecture with the help of diagram, and that is a long diagram. So we'll discuss it here as to be follows. And in the same case where we have interconnections network, then we have processors unit, then we have local memory, and then we have global shared disk subsystem, and then that is known as distributed memory shared disk architecture here. So that let's go ahead here. So here we have, this is information, then we have processors, that is your processors unit, then we have local memory, and then we have your global shared disk subsystems. And then we have your disk here. So this is a distributed memory shared disk architecture. So here in this, that is your interconnection network, these were processor unit as I told you, which is PU. Then we have your local memory. And then we have your global shared disk subsystem. Okay, so this is known as distributed memory shared system. Here you can write it down and you can even though draw it, because this is important. The another one is to depict the structures of the snowflake schema. So in the that snowflake schema, we have a dimension table, fact table, and that is comes under the time key, item key, location key, and that what we have to draw it out. And in the illustrate the architecture of the fact constellation, so of course we have a dimension 1 schema, dimension 2, dimension 3, dimension 4 schemas, and then we have a combination with that summary. So that includes here. Now we'll go ahead with other one, that is the another question is your evaluation based question. In the evaluation based question, the first question is that predict the type of parallelism. It refers to the execution of a single query in a parallel on multiple processors and disks. It is important for speeding up long-running queries, and it decomposes the serial, that's SQL query, into a lower level operation. I repeat the question because this has been evaluation based question, which is very important towards it. So the question is that predict the type of parallelism. It refers to the execution of a single query in parallel on multiple processors and disk. It is important to speeding up long running query. It decomposes the serial SQL query into a lower level operation. The answer is your intra query parallelism. Now the second question has been arised, that is to identify the parallel processing architecture. You have to identify the parallel processing architecture for which that belongs to, and in this the data is partitioned across all disks and the DBMS is partitioned across multiple core servers. It offers near linear scalability. It is the most difficult architecture to implement here. So I repeat the question here as well. The question is that to identify the parallel processing architecture. In this, the data is partitioned across all disks and the DBMS is partitioned across multiple core servers. It offers near linear scalability and it is the most difficult architecture to implement. And for that you have to identify the parallel processing architecture. So the answer is your shared nothing architecture. The next question is that the third question of the session of Form Unit 1 of evaluation based question, and that is the question is you have to predict the schema in a multidimensional data model. So the question is that the sophisticated application that may require multiple fact tables to share dimension tables, this kind of schema that can be viewed as a collections of star or galaxy schema. So repeat the question here, that is to predict the schema in a multidimensional data models, and that question is that the sophisticated application that may require multiple fact tables to share the dimension tables, and this kind of schema that can be viewed as a collection of stars and galaxy schema as well. The answer would be A, or the fact constellation. The next question, that is the fourth question of the session in reference towards the evaluation based question, that you have to predict the OLAP operation here, and it is a reverse operation of roll up, and the less detailed data are navigated to more detailed data. and it can be performed by either stepping down a concept hierarchy or adding additional dimensions as well. So repeat the question here, that is you have to predict the OLAP operation, and that it is reverse operation of roll up. The less detailed data are navigated to more detailed data, and it can be performed by either stepping down a concept hierarchy or adding additional dimension, and the answer would be your, that is drill down. The other question is, that is the fifth question of the session of evaluation based question, and the last question from unit 1 here, and that is these operations is performed in two ways. First, the operation selects the dimensions of the cube that results in the subcube. After the operation defines a subcube by performing a selection on two or more dimensions, you have to name the operation. Repeat the question, that these operation is performed in two ways. First, the operation selects one dimension of the cube and the result is a subcube, and after the operation defines a subcube by performing a selection on two or more dimensions, and you have to name the operation, and the answer is your slice and dice here. So now we'll discuss about the unit 2 here, and in the unit 2 we have to discuss many more things in the detailed about it, and hopefully we'll go ahead here and in the same cases that what we have to answer here, and that is the question, the unit 2, name of the unit 2 as I told you about it, unit 2. So in the unit 2 we have a name of the unit as your data warehousing process and technology. So in this that what we have to discuss here. So first we'll discuss about the memory based questions, that what we have to discuss. In the memory based questions here, the first question is what is warehouse strategies and name its components. So warehouse strategies we have to discuss as well as the components as well. So here in this the question we'll go ahead with warehouse strategies. In warehouse strategies, that the warehouse strategies that can be defined as part of the information technology strategy of the enterprises, and the strategy components if I'm talking about. In the strategy component, there are the three strategy component. The first is your preliminary data warehouse rollout plan. The second is preliminary data warehouse architecture. The third is the shortlisted data warehouse environment and tools. Now we'll go ahead with other question that what we have to discuss here. So the next question is here, that list some questions which are useful as a starting point for interview with intended end users of the warehouse. So we have to go through with that, and that is the first we have a function. The second is your customers. The third is your profit. The fourth is your time. The fifth is system. The sixth is your, that is your queries and report. The next is seventh is your product. And of course the eighth we have is your geography. Now we'll go ahead with another one, that is what is preliminary data warehouse architecture. So in this, that the preliminary architecture of each rollout based on the approved rollout scope, and at a minimum the preliminary architecture that should be indicate the following, and that we have here is the first, that is data warehouse and data mart. The second we have is your number of users. The next is your the third one, which is your location. Now we'll go ahead with the other one, that is to explain some issues that arise during the course of a project, and that we have here the issues, we'll talk about it. In the case of the issue here, that is we have your issue description. The second is your urgency. The third we have is your raised by. The fourth we have is your assigned to. The fifth we have is your, that is your date opened. The sixth is your, that is your date closed. Now we'll discuss about in a detail here, that is the another question, that is to mention some aspects to the data warehouse environment that make capacity planning for the data warehouse and a unique exercise. So for that, first we have that the first factor is that the workload for the data warehouse environment is very variable, and the second factor is that the data warehouse normally entails much more data than was ever encountered in operational environment. The third factor is that the data warehouse and the operational environment do not mix under the stress of the workload of any size at all. The other question has been that has been asked is you explain the background processing, predictable DSS and unpredictable processing in a short. So this is also has been asked of 2 marks, and that is your the background processing is done on a predictable batch basis, and typically a background processing in extract processing, and a data warehouse that loads monitoring, etc. And the predictable DSS processing is that is regularly done, usually on the query or transaction basis, and the unpredictable process by its very nature is much less manageable and than either background or predictable DSS processing as well. We'll go ahead with the further one that we have to discuss is what do you mean by a workload matrix. In a workload matrix here, that is the workload matrix is a matrix that is created as the intersections of the tables in the data warehouse and the processes that will run in the data warehousing here. Now we'll discuss about more in the detail about the next question, that is the list some key areas of security management, and there we'll discuss about it. So here the list some key areas of security management. So in some areas that is the security management, we will talk about it. The first we have asset classification practice. The second is your risk assessment and acceptance. The third we have is your asset ownership. The fourth we have asset handling responsibilities. fifth we have is your security audits. The sixth we have is your security awareness practice. So now we'll discuss about one of the another question, and that is to give some factors during selecting the backup mechanism, and where we'll talk about it. Now we'll discuss about list the two main schema design techniques. So main schema design technique. So that we have the two main that is design technique. We'll talk about it. The first we have is your normalization. The second we have is your dimensional modeling. Now we'll talk about the another one that what we have to discuss here, and that is under the same cases that will be going ahead with the other question here. So here we'll discuss some factors that is during selecting the backup mechanism here. So in the backup mechanism, we have the here, that is the first we have is your archive format. The second is your that is automatic backup devices. The third is your parallel data streams. The fourth is your offsite backups. The fifth is your incremental backups. Now we'll go ahead with other one that what we have to discuss here is write a short note on assemble and orient a team here. So in assemble and orient team, that we'll talk about it, where it identifies all parties who will be involved in data warehouse implementation, that define the term setup and assign project team member to a specific role, and to describe the schedule of planning projects to a team, and then set objects for each week here. So the other question has been arise is what are the tasks performed when conducting warehouse planning without a warehouse strategies. There are four, which is to determine the organizational context and define data warehouse rollouts, then define data warehouse architecture, and then evaluate the development and production environment and tool as well. And other than that, after that we will conclude with the next question, that is your what is data warehouse implementations, and what are the key considerations that are taken while finalizing the physical warehouse schema design. So that we'll talk about it, which is data warehouse implementations. So data warehouse implementations that comes under in it, and that is your the data warehouse implementation describes the activities related to the implementation of one rollout of the data warehouse. The key considerations, if I'm talking about here, in the term of key consideration, where we have three, and that is the first is your schema design. Second is your indexes, and that is the third we have is your partitioning. So now we'll go ahead with other one, that is the another question, that is write a short note on extraction subsystem. term of extraction subsystem here, that the first among the many subsystems on the back end of the warehouse is the data extraction subsystem. The term extractions refers to the process of retrieving the required data from the operational system tables, and which may be actual tables or simply copies that have been leaded into the warehouse server. And in the same references, the other short note on the transformation subsystem. In transformation subsystem, that the transformation subsystem literally transforms the data into accordance with the business rules and standards that have been established for the data warehouse. The other question is that some causes of data errors. Causes of data errors. In the term of the causes of data errors here, that we have your 5.1, which is the first we have is your missing values. The second is your multiple hierarchies. The third is your duplicates. The fourth is your field to be split up. And the fifth we have is your lack of referential integrity. Now we'll talk about another one, that is what are the basic features of a load subsystem. And for that we have basic features of load systems to be are as follows. The first is drop indexes on the warehouse. The second we have here is your load dimension record. The third we have load fact records. The fourth we have is your, that is log load perception. And the fifth we have is your rebuild or regenerate indexes. This is what we'll talk about it. Now we'll go ahead with another one, which is what is SMP. In SMP, the SMP full form we have is the symmetric multiprocessing. In symmetric multiprocessing, that the system consists of from a pair to as many as 64 processors that share memory and disk input-output resources that equally under the control of one copy of the operating system. And SMP systems make use of extremely high-speed interconnections to allow each processor to share memory or at equal basis as well. We'll go ahead with the detailed about it, which is to explain massive parallel processor system. Massive parallel processor system. This has been known as MMP system as well. So here that is a massively a parallel processor system use a large number of nodes, each accessed using an interconnect mechanism that supports message-based data transfer typically on order of 13 to 38 MB per second, and that is an MPP that considers as a shared nothing system because memory and input output resource are independent with each node and each supporting its own copy of the operating system here. Now we'll talk about the another one which where we'll talk about some approaches to partitioning DB records. Approaches to partitioning DB records. So in this here that to range partitioning we'll have here that is range partitioning. Second is your round robin partitioning. And the third we have is your hash partitioning. So in this the question can be asked is your what is round robin and a hash partitioning. So the in round robin, in terms of round robin here, that is round robin partitioning evenly distributes records all disk that compose a logical space for the table without regard to the data values being stored. And in the hash partitioning, that is a third method of the distributing DBMS data evenly across the set of the disk spindles, and a hash function is applied to one or more databases that key and the records of the distributed across the disk subsystem accordingly. Now we'll go ahead with the other question, that is what is master slave processing. In master slave processing here, that is in the next higher level of the distributed application processing. In this, slave computers are attached to the master's computers and perform application processing, that is related function only as directed by their masters as well. We'll go ahead with the detailed about the another one, which is write a short node on a cluster system. In a cluster system, in a cluster environment, each PU execute a copy of a standard operating system, and the inter-PU communication are performed over an open system-based interconnect. Like example is your Ethernet, TCP/IP, by either spatial operating system extensions or by an add-on software component as well. Now we'll discuss some MMP research issues here. So in MMP research issues, we'll talk about it. Some MPP research issues. So where some MPP research issues are to be as follows. The first we have is your scalability. The second is operating system. The third we have is your task scheduling. The fourth is your database system. The fifth is your compiler and optimization work. Now we'll talk about the another one, which is the other question is give some features of advanced RDBMS, and the some features of advanced RDBMS, we'll talk about it. Some features of advanced RDBMS is to be as follows. The first is the database triggers and rule. The second is your image support. The third is your is your graphical front-end developer tools. And the fourth we have is your object-oriented DBMS. Now we'll go ahead with the detailed about it, and that what we have to even discuss about it, and which is your the other question: what are the factors on which the choices of the tools depends on? And in the same cases, the choices on which that the tools are depend upon, that the source system, platform, and the database here, and built-in extractions or duplication functionality, or the batch window of the operational system as well. We'll discuss about more of the thing that is mentioned some features of the transformation tool. So here the field splitting and consolidations, standardization, and the deduplication as well. We'll talk about more about detailed about it, which is to explain data modeling tools. In data modeling tools here, that data modeling tools allow users to prepare and maintain an information model of both the source data and the target database as well. The second is related to warehouse management tool. So in this these tools assist warehouse administrator in the day-to-day management and the administration of the warehouse as well. The third we have is your EIS. Here in this that the EIS systems are the other decision support DSS are package application that run against the warehouse data here. That is EIS has been stand for. Now we'll talk about the another one, which is your what is metadata and give its types. So as metadata, I'll talk about it. So in metadata here, that metadata is one of the most important aspects of the data warehousing, and it is a data about data stored in the warehouse and its user. We'll talk about the types of it. So here we have three types. The first is your administrative metadata. The second is your end user metadata. And the third we have is your optimization metadata. Now we'll talk about the application based as well as the evaluation based in the next coming class, because it will go ahead, so will be a more long together. So we'll go ahead in the next coming classes. So first of all, it's a huge request from my side to all the viewers, please go through with the subscribe button and please like, share and subscribe our channel, so that many maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. In the same cases, in unit 1 what we had covered up is your data warehousing, which is the overview, definition, data warehousing components, building a data warehouse, the warehouse database, mapping of a data warehouse to the multiprocessor architecture, difference between the data warehouse system and the data warehouse, and multi-dimensional data models, data cubes, stars, snowflakes, stack constellation, fact hierarchy, process architecture, three-tier architecture, data marting as well. The unit 2 we had covered up the data warehouse process and technology, where we had covered up detailed about it, warehousing strategies, warehouse management and support process, warehouse planning and implementation, hardware and operating system for the data warehousing, client server computing models in the data warehouse, parallel processors and cluster system, distributed DBMS implementation, warehouse software, warehouse schema design, data extractions, cleanup and transformation tool, warehouse metadata as well. In unit 3 we had covered up the data mining and reduction, which is your overview, motivations, definitions and functionalities, data processing, form of the data, pre-processing, data cleaning, missing values, noisy data, binning, clustering, regressions, computers and human inspection, inconsistent data, data integration, transformation, data reduction, data cube aggregation, dimensionality reduction, data compression, numerosity reduction, discretizations, and concept hierarchy generation, decision tree as well. In unit 4, which is the classification and clustering, and that is your classification, definition, data generalization, analytical characterization, analysis of attribute relevance, mining class comparisons, statistical measures in the large database, statistical based, that is algorithm, distance based algorithm, decision tree based algorithm, clustering, introduction, similarities and a distance measure, hierarchical and partitional algorithm, hierarchical clustering, Curran chameleon, density based algorithm methods, that is ADP scan optics, grid based method, sting click, model based method, statistical approach, association rule, introduction, large item set, basic algorithm, as well as parallel and distributed algorithm, neural network approaches as well. Now after that we had covered up your unit 5th as well, that is your data visualization, where we had covered up the aggregation, historical information, query facility, OLAP functions and tools, OLAP servers, rollup, molap, OLAP, and data mining, interfaces, security backup and recovery, tuning, data warehousing, testing data warehouse, warehousing applications and recent trends, types of the warehousing application, web mining, spatial mining and temporal mining. And after that we have to cover up the very short answer type question as well. So here we'll end up with this, and first of all, it's a huge request from my side to all the viewers, please go through with the subscribe button, and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. As of now we are doing your data warehousing, data mining and reasoning as well. We had completed the non-verbal reasoning, verbal reasoning, and not we had started with non-verbal reasoning as well. We will be doing managerial economics in simultaneous way, data warehouse management system. We had completed the principle of programming languages. We are doing computer graphics, and we'll start with quantitative aptitude as well. So stay tuned with us, and please go through with the subscribe button, and please like, share and subscribe our channel so that many and maximum people can get the information at once, and even though you can also enjoy the video as well. Thank you, hope you enjoy this video. If you like this video, please give a thumbs up and give a suggestion on a comment box. Thank you.